Yo, what's good, good people? We are back at it again with another edition of your Don't Listen podcast with your boy TP. And unfortunately, we have bad news. Uh, the late, great Bill Russell has passed away. And also the late, great Nichelle Nichols has passed away. And we're going to do some commentary on that tonight, as well as we had some group participation. Ain't that something? We had some group participation from a longtime friend. I've known her from my days of being in North Camden. And when I used to go visit my family out there, she used to be out there. So shout out to you, Bree Chris, for tonight's subject. Shabri, thank you so much. Greatly appreciate it. She sent me a video on Dr. Umar Johnson. He was out there in the field doing some work. You know, he was out there interviewing Chicago Mayor Hopeful. And I hope he wins. This young brother had said some powerful words that I think y'all should hear and, you know, dissect for yourself. Because I know when I said something before about people leaving their respective parties, you know, I got a lot of people not liking that, you know, because we mostly are told as young people to, vote for the lesser of two evils. And me personally, I will no longer be a part of that. I will be voting with my conscience and not for some nonsense. You understand? So that's where I'm at with that. But I thought the video that she sent me was something for y'all to take home and dissect and figure out for yourselves. You know what I mean? But I thought it was good content for me to do commentary on and to bring to you good people. So I hope you all are in good health and in good spirits, because we have lost a legend, well, two legends. And first, let's get into Bill Russell. Bill Russell, man, I mean, all the sports talk people know. We just did some lists on top 10 NBA players of all time. Well, centers of all time. And we just did another one, if you didn't watch it, is top 10 power forwards. But when we started out with top 10 centers of all time. And Bill Russell definitely made my list. He made everybody's list. And he made a lot of people's lists in life for not just being an NBA great player, but also he was a civil rights leader. He marched with Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. for that famous "I Have a Dream" speech. And, you know, a lot of that don't get talked about. how, he stood up for civil rights and how much problems he actually had in the city of Boston with with the racial component being involved and how he had to navigate that situation. But yeah, let's do a little get back on Mr. Bill Russell. I'm going to read to y'all an article and I'm going to get into a little video. But yes, NBA legend Bill Russell, an 11-time NBA champion with the Boston Celtics and first black head coach in the league, passed away peacefully Sunday, according to the family, from his verified Twitter account. He was 88 years old. It is with a heavy heart we would like to pass along to all of Bill's friends, fans, and followers. Bill Russell, the most prolific winner in American sports history, passed away peacefully today at the age of 88 with his wife Janine by his side. Arrangements for his memorial service will be announced soon. In addition to his sporting achievements, Russell was one of sports' leading civil rights activists and marched alongside Martin Luther King Jr. when he gave his famous "I Have a Dream" speech in 1963. He also supported iconic boxer Muhammad Ali in his opposition to being drafted into military service. Yeah, I mean, the brother was out here doing more than just being a basketball player. He was out here, sticking up for his people. And today's game, people know, with activism, with, not sticking to the status quo, comes with a lot of scrutiny and a lot of, just vitriol towards a person that just wants civil rights for everybody. And, I salute that brother for everything he did for civil rights cause and for being an outspoken black man in a time where you never know what could happen. A lot of these sports guys today, they get a lot of accolades for, playing basketball and opening up foundations and things of that nature. But he actually, excuse me, put his career on the line for something he believed in. And that's to be respected. Former U.S. President Barack Obama took to social media to praise Russell's contribution to both basketball and society. Today, we lost a giant. As tall as Bill Russell stood, his legacy rises far higher, both as a player and as a person. Perhaps more than anyone else, Bill knew what it took to win and what it took to lead. On the court, he was the greatest champion in basketball history. Off of it, he was a civil rights trailblazer, marching with Dr. King and standing with Muhammad Ali. For decades, Bill endured insults and vandalism, but never let it stop him from speaking up for what was right. I believe I learned so much from the way he played, the way he coached, and the way he lived his life. Nichelle and I send our love to Bill's family and everyone who admired him. Like I said, Russell won 11 championships with the Celtics, including 8 straight from 1959 to 1966. He was a 5-time NBA MVP and a 12-time All-Star. As a coach for the Celtics, he led Boston to 2 titles, becoming the first Black head coach to win an NBA championship. Bill's 2 state championships in high school offered a glimmer of the incomparable run of pure team accomplishments to come. Twice NCAA champion, captain of the gold medal winning U.S. Olympic teams. Along the way, Bill earned a string of individual awards that stands unprecedented, as it was unmentioned by him in 2009. The award for the NBA Finals Most Valuable Player was renamed after 2-time Hall of Famer Bill Russell's NBA Finals Most Valuable Player Award. I mean, like I said, most of the time you only hear about what Bill Russell did on the court. But like I said, off the court, the man was an absolute amazing man, stood up for his people, went through all kinds of trials and tribulations for doing so. And he got books out there that y'all can go and read, find out about him. And yeah, that's Bill Russell. Now, I was a guy, he had did a video on Bill Russell speaking more. It was a CNN video, so I'm gonna play it for y'all and y'all can hear what I heard. So 1 second. Yep, the late great Bill Russell.
Those thoughts about Bill Russell and the kind of impact that he has made on and off the court.
Yeah, what I think of the fact, you've got 2 huge buckets when you talk about this guy. You've got the least important of which is that he was one of the greatest.
I'm sorry, good people. I messed up.
Certainly pre Michael Jordan,
I messed up.
Then you got the move.
So your first.
There we go.
Bill Russell and the kind of impact.
Sorry about that.
On and off the court.
Yeah, what I think of the fact, you've got 2 huge buckets when you talk about this guy. You've got the least important of which is that he was one of the greatest, if not the greatest basketball player of all time, certainly pre Michael Jordan. Then you got the most important bucket, which was this guy was a huge civil rights figure. He doesn't really get enough credit for that. He does get some attention, but I don't think people really realize how huge he was in that regard. Now, the first part, again, people have said this. 11 world championships in 13 years is obscene. I mean, it really is. Even though you talk about that was an easier era to win, not the greatest basketball player of all time, certainly pre Michael Jordan. Then you got the most important bucket, which was this guy was a huge civil rights figure. He doesn't really get enough play for that. He does get some attention, but I don't think people really realize how huge he was in that regard. Now, the first part, again, people have said this. 11 world championships in 13 years is obscene. I mean, it really is. Even though you talk about that was an easier era to win a world championship in the NBA because of a fewer team, but there's no disputing the fact that he was in the big 3 when it comes to athletes who are influential away from the field, the court, or the diamond, or what have you. We're talking about Jackie Robinson, Muhammad Ali, and Bill Russell is right there.
100% sold. Okay, have you kids? Fine. Well, she's not interested. I get it. Not everyone wants to city woman, but she's not interested in English.
Yes, that was the amazing Bill Russell. The amazing Bill Russell. I mean, like I said, you know, they always talk about his NBA accomplishments, but they don't give you the full history of what he also was doing as, you know, just being a great man and, you know, standing up for people and doing their thing. So, me personally, I have an affinity for people that stand up for what they believe in. And he definitely was one of those people. So I would say rest in peace to Mr. Bill Russell and condolences to his family. So, yeah, Mr. Bill Russell, rest in peace. Oh, one more fact. He also won the Presidential Medal of Honor and Freedom, I believe it was, for, you know, his outstanding role in civil rights. So, again, rest in peace to the late, great Bill Russell. Now, unfortunately, we had another late, great Hall of Fame career as well, person who passed away. One of my favorite actresses of all time, because a lot of people don't know, I was a Trekkie. I liked all that sci-fi stuff, and, you know, Star Trek was one of my favorite shows. And Lieutenant Uhura was played by one of the most intelligent, beautiful women that I have ever seen grace the TV screen. Because back then, when I was watching Star Trek and watching TV, there wasn't a whole lot of black women on TV. There were some in shows and stuff like that, but what she brought to the table was not only elegance, grace, and beauty, but just someone that a lot of women can aspire and aspire to be like, and they could see and say, hey man, maybe there's a chance for me to get on TV and be a star looking at her. So I would like to say rest in peace to the late great Nichelle Nichols, to be known as Lieutenant Uhura, Commander Uhura, in the great show Star Trek. So let's look at her history. Family also made a statement when it comes to her. You know, it's unfortunate we losing a lot of great people in this lifetime that I remember coming up in, and we losing a lot of them, and a lot of people don't know their history, not just on the screen and on the court. They also had a lot of accomplishments that I think people should know about. Okay, let's talk about Miss Nichols. Nichelle Nichols, who broke barriers for Black women in Hollywood when she played communications officer Lieutenant Uhura on the original Star Trek television series, has died at the age of 89. Her son, Kyle Johnson, said Nichols died Saturday in Silver City, New Mexico. Last night, my mother, Nichelle Nichols, succumbed to natural causes and passed away. Her light, however, like the ancient galaxies now being seen for the first time, will remain for us and future generations to enjoy, learn from, and draw inspiration. Johnson wrote on her official Facebook page Sunday. Hers was a life well lived and as such a model for us all. Her role in 1966 through 69 series as Lieutenant Uhura earned Nichols a lifelong position of honor with the series' rabid fans known as Trekkers and Trekkies. I am one of those. It also earned her accolades for breaking stereotypes that had limited Black women to acting roles as servants and including an interracial on-screen kiss with co-star William Shatner that was unheard at the time. I shall have more to say about the trailblazing, incomparable Nichelle Nichols, who shared the bridge with us as Lieutenant Uhura of the USS Enterprise and who passed today away at age 89. George Taki wrote on Twitter, "For today, my heart is heavy, my eyes shining like the stars you now rest among, my dearest friend." Celia Rose Gooding, who currently plays Uhura in Star Trek Strange New Worlds, wrote, "She made room for so many of us. She was the reminder that not only can we reach for the stars, but our influence is essential to the survival. Forgetting shaking the table, she built it." Like other original cast members, Nichols also appeared in 6 big screen spin-offs starting in 1979 with Star Trek The Motion Picture, and frequented Star Trek fan conventions. She also served for many years as a NASA recruiter, helping bring minorities and women into the astronaut corps. More recently, she had a recurring role on television's Heroes, playing the great aunt of a young boy with mystical powers. The original Star Trek premiered on NBC. Its multicultural, multiracial cast was creator Gene Roddenberry's message to viewers that in the far-off future, the 23rd century, human diversity will be fully accepted. Now, wouldn't that be a thing? In 1966, Mr. Roddenberry was thinking about human diversity that would be fully accepted. And here we are in 2020, 60 years later, almost 60 years later, we still have a problem with race, and especially in this country. So still got a ways to go. I think many people took into their hearts that what was being said on TV at the time was a reason to celebrate. Nichols said in 1992 when a Star Trek exhibit was on view at the Smithsonian Institute. She often recalled how Martin Luther King Jr. was a fan of the show and praised her role. She met him at a civil rights gathering in 1967 at a time when she had decided not to return for the show's second season. When I told him I was going to miss my co-stars and I was leaving the show, he became very serious and said, "You cannot do that. You've changed the face of television forever, and therefore you changed the minds of people," said the civil rights leader. That foresight Dr. King had was a lightning bolt in my life, Nichols said. During the show's third season, Nichols' character and Shatner, Captain James Kirk, share what was described as the first interracial kiss to be broadcast on a U.S. television series, and the episode, excuse me, Plato's stepchildren, who always maintained a platonic relationship, were forced into the kiss by aliens who were controlling their actions. Okay. Born Grace Dale Nichols in Robbins, Illinois, Nichols hated being called Gracie, which everyone insisted on. She had said in a 2010 interview, when she was a teen, her mother told her she wanted to name her Michelle, but thought she ought to have alliterative initials like Marilyn Monroe, who Nichol loved, hence Nichelle. Nichols first worked professionally as a singer and a dancer in Chicago at age 14, moving on to New York nightclubs, working for a time with Duke Ellington and Lionel Hampton bands before coming to Hollywood for her film debut in 1959's Porgy and Bess, the first of several small film and TV roles that led her up to Star Trek stardom. So, you know, this lady was also a trailblazer and most likely will be known for her role in Star Trek, but she also wore many hats. And, you know, some people like this need to be brought out to the forefront for everybody to understand, because our story is never told. It's always his story. But we got Black folks out here making true American Black history. And here at Don't Listen Podcast, we will bring them to light. Truly believe in the days and years, months, whatever ahead. It's going to be a lot of censorship going on, folks. So as much information that you need to get, do your own digging. Don't just listen to whatever somebody tell you, not even to what I tell you. Always do your own investigations. Do your own math on situations. That's how you find the truth and not something somebody told you. So rest in peace to Nichelle Nichols. Rest in peace, Queen. Sure, you will be missed by many. My condolences to your family as well. Okay. We losing our greats, good people. We got to remember these people and what they did. Trailblazers in each one of their fields, Bill Russell and Nichelle Nichols. Okay. Now we get to the group member, Shabri. Thank you again for this. You know, I've been speaking on this myself. Got a lot of heat for it as well, as far as people getting out of party affiliations and, start thinking for ourselves and all that vote blue, no matter who crap. You got to vote with our conscience and not some nonsense. And we also got to be independent thinkers and not just settle for anything. It's like I said in another video, you had the legend Ice Cube and the legend Puff Daddy was coming out and telling people we need to get something for our votes. Got to stop towing the line for these parties, Republicans or Democrats. Got to stop towing the line. Because if you go to work and you don't perform at your job, you get fired. You get replaced. Why don't that resonate with folks when it comes to politics? If you in there and you're not doing a good job, you should no longer have your job. Just like something that will happen to regular folk, it should be the same way with them. That goes for Republicans and Democrats. I'm not some partisan hack. I'm not going to come out here and tell y'all the Democrats are the best option. I'm not going to come out here and say, yeah, you should vote for Republicans. You need to look at each one of these individuals and see what they bring to the table. And is it worth you giving them your vote? Plain and simple. But again, a group member sent a video to me. She more than just a group member. She's a person I knew for many years. And she sent me a video and I appreciate her for that. She sent me a lot of videos that enlightened me in a whole lot of different ways. So I appreciate her time, her doing that, because she don't have to, but she do. So again, thank you, Miss Shabri. And we're going to get into this video she sent. This video is about an independent that's running in Chicago. And I think what this brother is talking about should be something we all be thinking about, because it actually corresponds with what's going on here in our city, CMD. So I think we should also look to other options. Democratic Party is failing us. The Republican Party is failing us. I heard some people want to start a third party, but I looked into that and it's going to be more of the same. It's a guy named Andrew Yang talking about he want to start a moderate party, which makes no goddamn sense, because if Republicans are to the right, we already know their policies. And if the Democrats are moving further right, and they were centrists and moderates already, but now over the years they didn't move further right, where does that put his party? So again, they try to trick you and mince words to have you thinking that we're not Democrats or Republicans, but his whole party that he's starting is filled with Democrats and Republicans, because he did an interview on CNN with Christy Todd Whitman. Y'all all know who she is, right? Former governor of New Jersey. How was your life with her? Oh my God. They try to resurrect these people like they're good people, bring them out in front of you. Like, I remember we was being terrorized by the state police down here in New Jersey, coming to our city. That's what I remember of Christine Todd Whitman. Y'all can go back and do y'all math on that too, y'all own investigations on that, because it was a crazy time back then. But let's look at this video and we'll stop for commentary along the way, but I want y'all to check it out. Thanks again, Shabri, for sending this video in. Share my screen.
As part of the Bishop Turner National Independent Black Political Movement, we are all about supporting independent candidates. Get off the Democratic Party plantation, get off the Republican Party plantation, and today we have a brother running for mayor of the second largest black metropolis in America, Chicago. He's not running as a Democrat, he's not running as a Republican, he's running as an independent. So what I want to do right now is turn my phones around. This is the good brother right here, Brother Jamal Green. We got him on his campaign bus. Stay right there, King, because I'm going to get your name in the back of you. Okay, so Brother Jamal Green, first question right off the top. And you know, my peoples from all over the world is meeting you and hearing you for the first time. Why do you want to be mayor of Chicago, Illinois?
Yeah, well, I've been fighting on behalf of the people for many years. Let me first just say I'm not a politician. I'm somebody who has stepped up at every moment in our communities to make sure that we have justice. Fought on behalf of Laquan McDonald and led that movement. Chase Bank when they weren't lending to
Black Power. I'm speaking here tomorrow at 2 o'clock. Come on out.
When Chase Bank was redlining our communities on the south and west sides, I fought Chase Bank and protested over 35 branches, and they banned me from every Chase in America, and we brought them to their knees and made them give $1 billion back to us. So at every moment I stepped up and I fought on behalf of the people. So I'm not a politician, but I'm somebody who understands these communities on a unique level, that's from it and that has always fought for it. And at this time we got to take that mayor seat so that we can make sure that resources get equally distributed throughout our city.
Wow, how about that? Got a guy that's not a politician, already an activist, already out in the community doing stuff. These are the type of people that should be running for elected seats. Because the people that we got in there, mostly all of them are former businessmen, former lawyers, former you know, TV stars, whatever they was, but they wasn't doing any work for the people that would materially change their life. This brother has been doing that. And if you're listening to what he's saying, he basically telling you what's going on in his city. Don't what he say sounds familiar, but let's carry on and watch the video.
Well said. Obviously, when people hear about Chicago, all over the news, obviously, they're trying to paint our people like animals, as if this not causes to this crisis of violence. Now, we know when you deal with black on black crime, you have to deal with white on black crime. You have the three biggest issues: miseducation, economic castration, okay, and the breakdown of the black community. So when it comes to education and when it comes to economic opportunity, so public schools and economic opportunities, what do you have in store for Black Chicago?
You are 100% correct on what you're saying. Actually, let me give you a little more historical context right here in Chicago. There was a black belt when folks came from South, when they migrated here to Chicago. Then they pushed us into the project buildings. As y'all know, there was the project buildings so that they can contain us. Then they knocked down those project buildings and pushed us into the neighborhoods, and there was segregation. Y'all already know. And what happened with segregation? Oppression in every area. So from our taxpayer dollars, from education, all the way down the line, from investment, is why we are here today. So when they talk about public safety, I don't say nothing about police, because they always want to say, oh, what about police? This police don't have nothing to do with what's going on in these communities. And if we don't tackle the real root causes, and we keep allowing them to only increase the police budget, that's the only budget that has increased over the years. Not the housing budget for our neighborhoods, not the education budget. The only budget that has increased, we giving $2 billion a year right now to our CPD. $2 billion a year. Hey, that's not even including the $100 million a year in police misconduct, the $200 million a year in police overtime. So over $2.4 or $2.5 billion goes to police in our city. And then we asking, why is there so much violence? Oh, let's look at the neighborhoods. When young people come out of a broken home, they're going into a broken school because they take the tip dollars and take the money out of our school system to say they're going to spur economic development. But where's that development going? Downtown. So then they walk into a broken community, walking past boarded up schools, boarded up houses with X's on them, boarded vacant lots that's not being developed. And then you say, why these young people don't have no hope? Well, look at what they walking past.
Listen to that. Don't that sound like what's going on here? Look at all the development that's happening downtown, and look at the state our school system is in. The state came down here and basically just started charter schools, never even talked to the people, asked them what they wanted to do, just started doing whatever they wanted to do when it comes to the school system. We had great teachers in this city. We still have great teachers in this city. They still doing the job, still doing their thing with less, money, with less, it's teachers out here spending their own money to buy supplies for kids, which makes no sense in this supposed richest country in the world. Now, with all that being said, what do you think that $50 billion that got sent overseas, what they could have did with that money here? Let's keep watching.
Then you look at where they shopping at. They got a corner store that's operating as the grocery store because we are living in food deserts, right? So now you talk about what are they eating? What is in they? Why their minds go like that? Then they go back in the house and turn on the water, and guess what? We got lead in our water. And so you look at where all the lead pipes are, they're on the south and west sides. So when you're talking about the reality of these neighborhoods and public safety, you got to tackle making sure these young people have a pipeline to even get job opportunities, to even get these tech jobs, to when they coming out of school, making it free to get training so they get these $100,000 jobs, putting trades back in the schools so that they can become, have vocational programs all throughout our schools in our city.
Now think about that as well. Back in the day when I was in middle school and high school, they used to have all kind of trades already built inside the school system. That way, when you're going through the school, if you wasn't going to college for some kind of academics, you could come out of school, high school, with a trade under your belt. Where has that gone? And I had conversations with some older people like my mom and older family members. They used to say the schools used to be open at night. They used to be able to go up to the school and hang out in the school, in the gym. Other things were going on at night where the schools were like the main hub for people to have things to do. Wouldn't you think some funding like that would have been helped by that 50 billion went across seas? Something like that where the kids aren't on the streets, they have something to do. That would have helped even when I was growing up. But we have none of that, people. None of that. Anywhere you go now is you got to pay some astronomical amount of money for your child or for any kind of activities. They even cut the summer programs down. It's like 1 month now. Like, what's going on, folks? They divesting from us and investing in other places. But let's continue.
Make sure that they become entrepreneurs, right? Entrepreneurial skills. They need to grow their entrepreneurial skills, and we need to help them do so. We got so much to do, y'all.
Powerful,
but
powerful.
We need somebody who understands it and understands the solutions to make that first step.
Let me hit you with another one. You already touched on it, gentrification.
Yeah.
Now, the city's money rests in the banks.
There you go.
My question to you, what banks holds the city's money for Chicago? The taxpayers' money is held where?
The one that I'm banned from. Chase Bank. The one that I'm banned from. I'm still banned from every Chase Bank in America because of our protests. And Chase Bank controls most of the market. They got the most branches. They control most of our money. They have even when people pay their property taxes, they got to pay it through Chase Bank. They have the control of every financial system in our state, and they even loan the money out to the smaller banks. So Chase Banks hold a lot of our dollars. And when I'm mayor, I will tell my Department of Finance to take our dollars out of these large institutions that do not serve us well. We need to look at the numbers. If you can't bring me numbers to show that you have, we're looking at all neighborhoods when we talk about Lincoln Park and Inglewood, and you can't show a comparison of how you've lended as much money into those neighborhoods to ours, you will not be able to open up a branch in this city again. We must make sure that we are fierce with these banks who are holding our dollars, because we got the leverage. There's no reason why from 2012 to 2018, Chase Bank, who holds the most money, was giving out only 1.9% of their loans to black people. 1.9%.
And they got all the tax dollars.
And they got all the tax dollars, where you look at Lincoln Park between 2012 and 2018, they gave them $1 billion in 6 years in home loans. $1 billion. And
so they got everybody's money, but they only financing the white side of the city.
They only financing the white side of the city, and we're allowing them to get away with it. Our leaders, they taking, just like our current administration, Chase is sponsoring every city event. Why are we taking their money so that they can keep on oppressing us in our community? That's going to stop under this administration.
Now, one of the big things you always hear from outside of Chicago, of course, I'm based in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
They say Chicago is one of the most segregated cities in the country. I'm not necessarily too concerned about the segregation unless all the resources are also segregated.
There you go.
So my question to
That's
you
the
is,
biggest
all
thing.
the resources in Chicago separated along the color line as well?
100%.
And what do you hope to do about that?
100%. And that's everything I talked about. When we talk about the resources, that's what's really segregated, because these neighborhoods, you go into Lincoln Park, you may not see a lot of black folks, but guess what? You walk out, you're going to see businesses thriving. You're not going to see nothing boarded up. The home ownership is 75%. And you think that we can't do that in our neighborhoods? We should be able to create new black Wall Streets. We should be able to own our homes and not be redlined. We should be able to take our tip dollars and invest in community centers. Right now, we're trying to build a 80,000 square foot youth center so that we can tackle the real problem. We should be able to do that, but it's not. And so as mayor, that is going to change. Downtown will always be the engine, right? It has nothing to do with making sure that South and West Sides get their fair share, and we need to stop allowing them to tell us so.
Just two more.
Now, if you listen to this brother and what he's saying, you know, it should be easy for people to just be like, damn, why ain't none of this stuff happening here? Why ain't it happening? Why? Where's all the black wealth going to? Where's all the money that you have in banks to keep them functioning? Why isn't they investing in your communities? Because if you listen to the story about his story with Chase Bank, there comes another story where mostly all the branches here is Wells Fargo. Somebody not with a bank that don't have a great history of dealing with folks. We all know their scandals if you've been paying attention, but it's the same situation we got going on here, folks. Same situation, but let's continue, because this to me is very important what he about to say. When I be talking about we were sheep herded into the Democratic Party and everything, sheep herded into the Republican Party and everything. When I say these things, people be like, yo, we don't have no options. This guy is running as an independent, and he having problems down there because them Democrats then bonded up against him Those Republicans then bonded up against him as a group. And, you know, same thing happened to Bernie. All the dark money start coming in, and all of a sudden people lay down. This brother ain't laying down. Very inspired by this story. So again, thank you, Bree. And let's continue. Let's get to the end of this video.
Questions. One question is election day. When is election day, and what is the deadline for folks to get registered to be able to vote?
So good question. Illinois is you can vote. Register to vote at the polls.
Oh wow!
So there is no day.
I didn't know that.
February 28, 2023 is the election, and you can register February 28 at the polls and vote at the same time. So that we do have. So you will not have an excuse, and we're gonna make sure our young people vote. We're gonna get them to. You see this big old bus? We got many of these. And so we're going to take them to the polls and buses and trolleys. We're going to give them incentives to make sure that they come out and vote. We got the celebrity, every celebrity from the city is backing our campaign. And we're going to make sure we're using them to get folks out to the polls, because only 19% of people are voting. And you know what that means, Dr. Umar? That the Democratic Party, obviously, well, it's really by design, but they're not trying to do their job to get people out.
No, sir.
Because they only want they people that they can control.
Exactly, to come and vote. That's right.
That's really what's happening. That's why only 19.8% voted 2 weeks ago. That's going to change, because we're going to get people out and we're going to shock the world.
And how can they donate to your campaign? Folks are asking on here. Is it a website?
So you can go to gogreenchicago.com. Simple. Gogreenchicago.com, and you can donate right on the website, gogreenchicago.com. And to join our list, you can text GREEN to 61514. Text GREEN to 61514. Be a part of this movement, because this is a movement that's going to shock the world, and we hope that folks all over the country get inspired and they step up and take these local positions, these national positions, so that folks who actually really care about us and our communities can elevate us all across this world, and we can do it.
Black Power. All right, so y'all heard it right there. The next mayor of Chicago, Brother Jamal Green. You feel me? Donate, get registered to vote. It's going down. It's the Prince of Pan-Africanism, King Kong consciousness. We supporting independent black candidates here in Chicago. Make sure y'all.
Yeah, so that brother, Dr. Umar Johnson, he's a brother that's out here putting in the work. And y'all heard about the young brother, Jamal Green. Chicago, y'all stand up for that young man. That brother got some things that want to, you know, change your life, what he talking about. So I wish somebody with that kind of stature and fight could run here. You understand? And change some things here. You know, it's getting to a point where people are waking up. You heard what he was saying, what he said, yeah, the Democrats only had a 19% turnout. 19%. So it's more independent voters, independent thinkers that's bringing stuff to the table and taking some votes away. Now the Democrats gonna come out and start shaming people like they did when Hillary lost. They need to look themselves in the face and ask why people is turning away from them, instead of blaming people for their loss and their ineptitude over the years. They need to look at themselves as a party and stop blaming people that got independent thinking on their mind. And tired of all the pie in the sky, using cultural things to move their politics along, but when they get in there, they don't do nothing to move the culture forward. Nobody's, not American culture. All they doing is padding their pockets. And that's a fact, Jack. So, you know, people wake up, and the Democratic Party need to wake up, because the further you move right, the more people you turn away, because people are waking up. We are waking up as a people. Y'all better get it together. It ain't gonna be much of a Democratic Party the way y'all moving. And the Republicans keep shooting themselves in the foot, literally and figuratively. So at the end of the day, that blue no matter who stuff, I don't think it's gonna work for y'all this time. Y'all better do something. November is right around the corner. This has been your Don't Listen podcast with your boy TP. And we ain't going nowhere, folks. We going hard in the paint. So get where you ain't. You understand? Again, condolences to the families, friends, and followers and fans of the late great Bill Russell and Nichelle Nichols. Like I said, they created some Black history, so we are building history in this country. Even if they don't teach us, that is some great Black folks out here doing great things, have done great things. Got to understand, we ain't going nowhere neither. I want to wish peace to you all on your journey. I hope you all are in good health and good spirits. And again, this has been your Don't Listen podcast with your boy TP. Stop playing. And we are out just like that. Deuces. Peace.